All right, guys, welcome back. Let's sit here and unpack this people's team. And we didn't go as well last week after being ranked 768. We end up scoring 990 and ending the week at 1459. So there was a couple of things that didn't go right. There was a few things that did, and we'll roll through that now. We obviously had a little bit of an issue with our trading this week. Only got 33 with Peachy, and the theory behind the trade was completely fine. A few of the other ones that were tossed around was McCulloch. He got 56, so that was okay. He didn't go crazy, but in a team that got absolutely smashed, Peachy didn't go as well. The positive thing out of this, we do lose a few ranks, but we do have 256k in the bank, so we are happy to use that and see that there going into this next week of trade. So one thing I do notice is obviously this bench, and we had an issue with O'Sullivan after having him really help us last week. He was obviously one of our downers this week with 19, and then we played Walker as well on the interchange. And when you see Averillo sit there with 48, that's a little bit annoying. And then Fuimayano with 40 as well. So Fui kind of hit the max that we thought he might get around that 40 mark, and Walker kind of got the low. So that was a tough one. It was just who we played. It was a Fui over Walker, and this time we chose wrong, but in previous weeks we chose correctly. So can't hang our hat on that one. Is what it is, unfortunately. But in terms of the team, as we had to play Stefano in there, Terps, Crichton, Watson, completely fine. Obviously, we can't do much about what Crichton did, but having Tohu and Fafita there is completely fine. Momorowski is doing well, but there's he probably won't play this week. It looks like Averillo is going to have to slot into that position, which will be completely fine. Who do they play next week? Cronulla. So it should be a okay game for him, you'd imagine. I think looking at a base of around 30 for Averillo these days. So I think he's just kicking the ball a lot more and doing a bit more, which is good. And then we have Teddy in there with a 36 as well. So there's a few reasons why we didn't go as well, but I think we'll take the 990 and get out of that week and move on to the next one. And in this team, what the types of things that we'd be looking at is, do we keep Fui? It's probably worth it at this stage to have some edge and mid cover. Like if we're looking at it, we only have him and Spencer as our middle and edge cover there. And if we have an injury to one of these guys, then who are we left with? That's going to be the question. And I suppose the thing to think about this week is is Josh Curran going to play? If he does, then we could use some cash to trade Spencer or Tessie to him, for example, and use that 300 or 350k to upgrade elsewhere. But the question would be, who we'd be looking to upgrade in this squad? And if you're looking at that, maybe it is Spencer and Tessie, and go down with one and up with the other, which would leave about 650, 700k. And I suppose the question would be, who would we have around that mark, and what position would we need some help with? And I suppose we have the half cover at the moment. Schuster will come in as a dual position from here. Centers we're solid with. Obviously, Mom, we won't be trading him if he's out for a couple of weeks. And you can use Averillo as some cover there. And, wing fullback might be one that we need to think about as getting some cover. I don't think we'd be interested in trading Teddy. I think that'd be a silly decision. But having to play Stefano is probably not a win at this stage. So maybe it's upgrading in our middle or edge and moving Tohu up or keeping him there, for example. But around that price point of, there's some decent guys here. You got Moses, you got Twal, you got Roger. Latrell's going to be out for a bunch of weeks. You got Elliott, like even Pangai and Reynolds, Townsend. There's so many good guys in this middle position there. It's just, for us, I think it's going to be about how do we bring in a keeper from this price point, and that could be the hard part with a bunch of guys that are sort of doing okay. Someone like Adam Dewey could be an interesting one. They could play in your half position as well as your wing fullback after this week when he gets the dual position. You got Luke Thompson in there who could be a decent option. If we could obviously play Peachy up in the mids if we ever need to. Once Mom's back and if Averillo's doing well. So there's a few different options there. Jazz Tavanga is another one. Lindsay Collins is doing well. So there's a few guys there we could talk about and entertain. But at the moment, I just feel like this bench and our starting mid is probably not strong enough. We've got a bunch of guys that are just doing okay on the bench there. So that's probably where I'd look to target improving this team. What do you guys think about this team at the moment. Obviously sitting pretty good. Like we can't complain. 1459 with 256k in the bank. We've kept a couple of trades up our sleeve. It'd be interesting to see what happens this week, who gets named, and what we can do there. And if even the other thing to think about is if Curran's starting and he's looking to get closer to 80 minutes each week, then maybe we can just play him over one of these guys instead of a Walker, instead of something like that, and only have to make the one trade. But then you'd be sitting there with 3 or 350k on the bench again. So I feel like we don't want to waste trading to one of these middle guys if they're not exactly going to become a keeper, because I think that's probably the most important thing at this stage is starting to bring in guys that are definitely keepers and not just like a maybe. Maybe they'll do all right. Maybe they'll hit a 60 or 70 and go from there. So where's Papali'i at the moment? He'd be really high right now, wouldn't he? Okay, let's see where he is. 773. Holy moly. Yeah, that's high. Bunch of these guys in the 700s. Dylan Brown's there. Lucy Ailua could be a solid option, averaging 57. Thinking about all these types of guys that are going to be playing that round 13 bye. But yeah, that's it. I think I'll leave it with that, guys. Let me know what you think we should do in this team. I think it would be really helpful to get some help from all you guys in the YouTube comments and also on the Discord group. But yeah, as I said, if you haven't joined the Discord group and want to get in on the action in improving this team, then please hit that link in the description, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Please enjoy, hit like, subscribe, and have a good week. Bye-bye.